So in this segment, we're going to be discussing Ian Paisley Jr. saying that he doesn't regret his Brexit vote despite all of the problems Brexit has caused for Northern Ireland. It's given them some good things as well, in terms of being in the single market for goods, but it's given them a lot of chaos courtesy of the DUP. And so, let's have a look.
Every single good that enters the Green Channel in GB and travels to Northern Ireland enters it with a customs declaration. That's paperwork, that's friction. We were told that we were getting rid of this friction.
But who told you we're getting rid of the friction? I don't think anyone said that it's going to get rid of the trade barriers. What they've said is they're going to lessen the trade barriers, lower it, make it easier for trade to go from GB to NI. Whoever's told you is getting rid of it, maybe it was a Tory, maybe it was Sunak, I don't know, but that was nonsense. From the jump.
Knowledge is better than what was before.
There is no border in the Irish Sea. But Rishi Sunak said this will be as if there's no border at all, and yet we still have customs declarations.
The problem is Brexit, isn't it? I mean, do you ever find yourself, regretting having backed Brexit, which has backed you into this corner?
Well, there's a number of things I do regret. I'll tell you, I don't regret voting against the Belfast Agreement, and I don't regret.
So he doesn't regret voting against the Good Friday Agreement, despite the fact that it's helped Northern Ireland a lot in terms of just, moving on from the Troubles.
Voting for Brexit. What I do regret is the outcome and the way in which it was handled in terms of the negotiation process. I mean, 3 years and more to leave whenever we voted way back in 2016. That negotiation process was tedious, it was wrong, and it failed. And that's why we're trying to pick up the pieces post the process of extracting ourselves. It didn't have to be that bad. It could have been an awful lot better.
How would it have been a lot better? Ending freedom of movement always meant ending our access to the single market. That's always the way it was going to go. So no single market access. We voluntarily left the customs union. Okay, so there was always going to be a border. Where were you going to put the border? I know where he would have put the border, but the problem is he was never going to get it because the EU stood firm, Ireland stood firm, and the Americans stood firm. And you're not beating powers like that. So the problem is they always thought the border was going to go in one place, and it didn't, and it went in the Irish Sea instead. That's ultimately what happened, and that's pretty much it.
Senior unionists, as you know, are starting to say you do need to think again. Lord MP, Reg MP as he was, is pointing out, look, Sinn Féin have always said Northern Ireland is a failed political entity, and you are proving them right. You are helping the Republican cause and accelerating a united Ireland.
That's true. By keeping Stormont closed, it's proving that Northern Ireland can't function on its own, and that something needs to change there. And I know the DUP will come to a different conclusion based off that premise, but the problem is, without Stormont being open, without political representation, it's proving Northern Ireland itself, in a sense, is proving itself to be a failure. And it's not anyone's fault but the DUP's. That's the problem.
Well, I don't believe we are accelerating a united Ireland. We're part of the.
I was just going to add, if the DUP said, look, the Northern Ireland Protocol is great because it keeps us in the EU single market for goods, and if we have a united Ireland, it means we lose that special status. If that's what everyone's saying. That's what Sunak's kind of hinted at. That's what a different bias has said. That's what so many other people have said. That if the DUP say, look, we've got the Northern Ireland Protocol, the Windsor Framework, whatever you want to call it now. That makes us different to Ireland, and they could use that as an argument against unification. But the problem is, these people, their identities are so intrinsically linked to the rest of Great Britain that they just don't get it.
The sixth largest economy of the world, where we are, even with all these problems of friction in our internal market, we still have full employment.
Full employment's a red herring. It doesn't mean much. All it does is create more kind of tightness in the labour market, which means it's harder to hire people. That's pretty much it. Full employment, low percentage employment. It's bad. It's bad economics. People who push that line don't know economics.
As an economy are doing exceptionally well. Investment is increasing. No, I wouldn't parrot the words of Sinn Féin by saying Northern Ireland's a failed entity.
Right, but politics isn't fun.
It's not about parroting Sinn Féin's lines. It's about agreeing with them on a specific point. If I agreed with what you said and I repeated that, it wouldn't be I'm parroting your lines. It'd be I'm saying those lines in agreement with you. So what he's saying here, he's so ideologically in this kind of culture war, this political war still with Sinn Féin, and it feels like they're still kind of fighting against a united Ireland against nationalism, that they can't figure out that what's good for them is the protocol because of Brexit. You know, all of this stuff is a consequence of Brexit. They just don't get it yet.
Functioning, and there's no sign of it functioning because you won't let it. I mean, that makes it a failed political entity. There is no Northern Ireland government, and there's no sign of it, is there?
Well, there certainly is no sign of the Assembly getting back up and running. There is a government in Northern Ireland that it's headed up by the Secretary of State for Northern Ireland. The Secretary of State needs to do his job.
Do you accept in the end the good...
Do his job and do what? He's trying to get Stormont back open. You know, I don't give a lot of... I think it's Chris Heaton-Harris. I don't give him a lot of credit because he's a stupid Brexiteer, but, you know, at least he's trying to do something here, and you guys aren't letting him. I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, support the channel on Patreon if you can, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one.